What's up, Pistons fans? Welcome back to another episode. Tough game tonight, man. Very frustrating basketball game tonight. If you are a Pistons fan, the Pistons played the Bulls tonight, and they lost at home, 122 to 112. And this was a very frustrating game. Like I mentioned, this was a very frustrating game to watch for many reasons. But the Pistons had many opportunities to win this game, to get back into this game, and they just didn't take advantage of it. They just couldn't get over the hump tonight. So we're going to get into some things. First things first, shout out to Jalen Duren. Today's his birthday. He's officially 21. We'll get to JD later. A lot to get to regarding Jalen Duren tonight. So tonight, the Pistons, they donned their City Edition jerseys, their bad boy style orange and cream jerseys. And unfortunately, they were not able to get a win. Let me know if you guys will get one of those jerseys. I'm probably going to get one. I love the style of it. Let me know if you're going to get one. Tim Hardaway actually returned from a 3-game absence, so it was good to see him back healthy. Okay, so initial thoughts, right? So both teams actually got off to a pretty fast start offensively, right? The Bulls came into this game actually with the fastest pace in the league, and it showed early. They were out and pushing at every opportunity. Missed shots, made shots, free throws, it didn't matter. They were looking to push the ball early and often tonight. And the Bulls had a chip on their shoulder, man. They definitely came to play tonight. They had some help from the Pistons tonight defensively, but they came to play. The last game, they gave up 143 points to the Rockets. So they came in tonight looking to really bounce back and get a win, and they did. Nikola Vucevic, man. Nikola Vucevic was an absolute menace tonight. First and foremost, I do want to say Nikola Vucevic is a very good offensive player, right? He's not a great defensive player, but he's a great offensive player. He's averaging 20 points this season. He's a very good shooter from deep. He's got a really good post game. He's a good passer out of double teams, out of the pick and roll. He's just a good offensive player. So I do want to say that. I want to preface my thoughts with that. And tonight, he was just doing whatever he wanted to do. I mean, some of the shots he was making was just crazy, right? Some of the shots he was making was just fall away, Dirk Nowitzki style, just fall, like, come on, bro. He just had it going tonight. But I think part of that is because he was just too comfortable. He was way too comfortable getting to whatever he wanted. And out of that pick and roll, he's tough because if you switch, he's going to have a small defender on him and he's going to post and that's 2 points. If you try to fight through it, then you're leaving him open for a three-pointer. And he was knocking those down. And if you switch and send help, then he's finding the open shooter. And the Bulls had shooters all over the court. Whether it was Kobe White, whether it was Zach LaVine, they had shooters all over the court. And they were knocking down threes. They were knocking down threes at a ridiculous rate tonight. They shot 50% from three. 23 of 46. And Zach LaVine went wild in the fourth quarter. He had a very quiet game to start this game, but fourth quarter, he just went crazy. And we're going to get to that later. The Pistons played from behind all night, man. They played from behind all night long. And it seemed like every time they would get back into it, every time they get to within one possession or two possessions, they either turn the ball over, take a bad shot, or the Bulls would hit a tough shot. It had to happen at least 6 or 7 times tonight when the Pistons were right there, one possession, and they just could not get over the hump. They tied the game once in the fourth quarter, and they were not able to take the lead. The Bulls would not let them get any momentum in this game, but the Pistons shot themselves in the foot a lot in this game. When I saw that Zach LaVine only had 10 points going into the fourth quarter, I knew it was trouble time, right? Because we were already struggling to keep up, and he hadn't even been playing well. So fourth quarter, he just went wild. He locked into the game and said, okay, I'm taking over now. And Zach LaVine is a good player, man. He can do that, right? He can do that. He can take over games. We saw Tyler Hero do it to us when we played the Heat, and Zach LaVine is fully capable, if not more so, of doing everything that Tyler Hero could do. And he did tonight. I think he had 5 threes in the fourth quarter tonight. Just ridiculous. Some were contested and just good shots, but others was just wide open threes. So the pick and roll, man, we really struggled with the pick and roll tonight, man. So let's start there. Jalen Duren just turned 21, and he showed his age today. Jalen Duren is a very raw basketball player, but he did not play well defensively tonight. His rotations were not great, and he just didn't seem locked in on every play. Every place he'd be locked in, and other plays where he would look to be distracted or somewhere else. And there's a few plays that show evidence of that. One play in the half court, the Bulls are bringing up the court. And top of the key, Vucevic sets a screen for, I believe it was Kobe White. And as he's setting a screen, Jalen Duren is still under the hoop. He's not even showing out. He's not even showing. And I'm just wondering, why are you not even showing on him? He's been lights out all night. You got to press up. But he just left him wide open for a three. He knocked it down. Another play, pick and roll again. This time I think it was Vucevic and LaVine. And by this point, LaVine had already hit 3 threes. So at that point, you have to get the ball out of his hands or make sure you contest. and they ran the pick and roll, and Jalen Duren was so eager and so keen on making sure that he rolled with Vucevic that he actually got in the way of Jaden, who was actually trying to guard LaVine, and Jalen Duren actually got into Jaden's path trying to get to Vucevic, and Jaden wasn't able to recover, leaving LaVine wide open again for a three. So it's just defensive mistakes. It's the little things with Jalen Duren. It's the little things, the fundamentals, understanding where to be, understanding what to do in that situation. In that situation, you have to show out. You have to show. Zach LaVine is hot. You can't risk leaving him wide open. So in that situation, in my mind, you're going to be on the island. It's not ideal, but it's better than leaving him wide open. So those are the things that Jalen Duren really needs to work on. I'm not one of those people that are saying trade Jalen Duren. I'm not there. We just talked about his age. He's 21 years old. He does have a lot of work to do, though. He has a long way to go defensively. And I think he's just going through the growing pains of learning how to be a good defensive player. It's not that he's not an athlete. It's not that he doesn't have good foot speed. It's not that he's not strong enough. It's not that he doesn't have the intangibles or the measurables to be a great defender. He just needs to understand how to play team defense and what that means, right? And tonight, you really saw that he has a long way to go towards getting to that point. So it's just the fundamentals for him. So with that being said, he did have a good game on paper, right? He had 15 points, 22 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks. But it was just so many defensive lapses in key moments when we really needed him to get a stop defensively, and he wasn't able to do it. So once again, I'm not saying Jalen Duren doesn't have the potential to be a good player. He does. And I'm not willing to give up on him because we have a young team, right, that is in the growing pains phase. All of these guys are learning and growing together. All of these guys have a long way to go until they get to the finished product. He's just one of the guys that has a further way to go than everybody else. So he needs to make sure he's watching film. He needs to make sure that he's on the court with the big men coaches. He needs to make sure he understands where he's supposed to be position-wise on the basketball court. He needs to understand how to rotate better. He needs to understand how to communicate better, because these defensive lapses are killing the Pistons late in games. They are killing the Pistons late in games. So JD, I got faith in you, right? And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take him time, right? But at this point, I think it is abundantly clear. His focus needs to be on the defensive side of the basketball. I don't want to see him shooting threes in practice. I don't want to see him working on his post moves and stuff like that. I want to see him completely committed to the defensive end of the floor. Think about Bam Adebayo, right? Everybody has been comparing him to Bam Adebayo for a while now. When Bam Adebayo first came into the league, he was known as a defensive player. He's just now, the last year or two, beginning to get into his offensive bag. But he was known to be a lockdown defender. That's what Jalen Duren needs to be. Let the offense come to you over the next months and years. For now, focus on the defensive end of the court, period. That's literally where I'm at with it. Like, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because this is not the first time now. It seems like whoever we play, whether it's Alperen Şengün, whether it's Jakob Poeltl, whether it's Nikola Vucevic, like, it seems like every night the opposing big man just having a field day, and it has to be addressed immediately. So he's not a bad basketball player, at least I don't think so. He has a very high ceiling. His potential is very high, but he is just not there yet. So it's going to take him time. I don't know what this means for him. I don't know if the Pistons are looking to start Isaiah Stewart. I would still run with Jalen Duren because I like what we have with that second unit with Stewart and Holland and Fontecchio and Beasley and Sasser and those guys. I like that. I like that second unit. But Jalen Duren has some work to do. With him being 21, right? With him being 21, that is the only reason why I'm not willing to say it's time to make a decision on him. It's just too early. It's just too early. And every player's learning curve is different. So we got to keep that in mind. Let's just see how he continues to grow defensively throughout the season, because we've seen our team as a whole get better and better and better, right? As a team, individually and as a team, we've seen guys get better. We've seen Jaden Ivey make strides already this season. We've seen Cade Cunningham make strides already this season. We've seen Tim Hardaway Jr. make strides this season. He had a bad game tonight, but early in the season, he really was struggling, and he came on late before his injury. So Jalen Duren's learning curve may just be a little bit longer. So I'm not willing to jump off the boat with him, but at the same time, there needs to be a real sense of urgency when it comes to him and when it comes to his development, because we need him, because we need a defensive anchor. The Pistons need a defensive anchor, a starting defensive anchor, and he hasn't been that. So we need him to be that. Cade played solid overall tonight. He had 26 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 turnovers, 8 for 17 shooting, 4-7 from 3, 6-9 from the free throw line. So Cade played overall a pretty good game. Some decision making down the stretch was just not there. some bad shots, some bad turnovers. He only had 3 for the game, but once again, it's when you make them. He had 10 assists, right? So 10-to-3 ratio is pretty solid, but it's just the when you turn the ball over. But overall, he played pretty good. He had 2 back-to-back threes in the third quarter when the Pistons really needed it to get back into the game, to get the lead back under double digits. So he was trying. He played his heart out. He played his heart out, man. He just didn't play his best game. Jaden didn't play particularly well tonight. He had 12 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, no turnovers. He shot 3 for 12, 1 of 4 from 3, 5 of 7 from the free throw line. So he didn't play terrible, but this was definitely not one of his better games, only shooting 25% from the field and from 3. So he didn't play great. It wasn't for lack of trying. It just wasn't his night tonight. And that happens sometimes. But I don't really have much criticism on Jaden. He just didn't have a good game. But he didn't really hurt the Pistons tonight. He didn't turn the ball over at all, right? He was playing solid defense, tough defense. He was getting guys involved offensively, right? 5 assists, no turnovers. That's always a good thing. So his shot just wasn't falling tonight. And on the night when the Bulls are shooting 50% from 2 and 3-point range, it just added insult to injury. Tim Hardaway Jr. really struggled, man. He had 2 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound, 1 of 10 from the field, 0 for 8 from 3. So he showed some rust, right? It's his first game back. I'm not going to kill him. It's his first game back. He hadn't played 3 games. The rust was there, right? It wasn't for lack of getting shots up. He was getting shots up. It just wasn't falling tonight. Tobias Harris had 16 points, 2 boards, 1 turnover, 7 of 15 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 of 1 from the free throw line. So solid game from Tobias, nothing extraordinary. Only 2 boards tonight. He usually is getting close to double digits, but Jalen Duren had 22. So that's where most of the boards went. Malik Beasley. It seems like every game I'm saying the same thing about him, man. He continues to play well. 21 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, no turnovers, 8 for 19 shooting, 5-14 from 3. So he didn't shoot great from 3, but he was getting good quality shots up. And a lot of the threes he hit were in timely situations when the Pistons were once again down double digits and we needed a burst, and he was able to give it to us. So I'm not mad at him at all. He didn't have a great shooting night. The last 4 or 5 games, he shot it great from 2-point and 3-point, right? So if he have one off game, that's not a big deal for me. Malik Beasley is one of the furthest reasons as to why we lost tonight. He played a solid game off the bench. Fontecchio was solid, 6 points, 2 rebounds, 1 block, 2 of 4 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3, right? So like I always say, when he's catching the ball and shooting it, he's effective. When he's doing anything else, he's not. Whenever he caught the ball tonight, he was going straight up, it was going in. And whenever he put the ball on the floor and try to create, he would turn it over. It happened multiple times. One of his passes was cross court, and I don't even know what he was looking at, but definitely don't want him handling the ball. I don't want him handling the ball, and that's nothing against him as a player. I think he's a good shooter, and I think that's what he's best at, and that's what he needs to do. We have enough distributors on this team to do that. So I would rather him just shoot the ball. I've said it over and over again. I just want to see him shooting the ball. If the shot's not there, move the ball. It'll come back to you if it's supposed to. Isaiah Stewart has 7 points, 4 boards, 3 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers, 3 of 4 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3. He got into a scuffle in the first quarter with Dalen Terry, and that's all it was. Dalen Terry got a little handsy, and Stu pushed him off and said, "Get off me." And Terry waited until his teammates came over, acted like he wanted to do something. He didn't want to do anything. Not with Isaiah Stewart. It's funny because when they were reviewing it for technical fouls, it was a double tech, and the referee said, double technical foul on Isaiah Stewart and number 25. He didn't even know who he was. So yeah, that was all it was, though. Nothing more than just a little scuffle. So that's it, man. The Pistons, they had the opportunities. They had opportunities, but every time they had a chance to really get into the game and take control of the game, they shoot themselves in the foot. Bad defense, bad rotations, bad communication, or just taking bad shots on the offensive end to turn the ball over. And it's the same story. We all say, if you bring the effort defensively, if you're communicating, if you're talking, if you're rotating, if you're playing team defense, and you don't turn the ball over, more times than not, you're going to win. But the Pistons just gave up too many easy buckets, and that was their demise late in the game. So now, the Pistons, who had an opportunity to pull to 500 on the season and go to 8-8, are now 7-9. And they really missed an opportunity tonight to push their win streak to 3 games, pull to 500, but they didn't do that. But what did you guys see tonight in this game that I missed? I know it's a lot that we could have talked about. It's probably a lot of frustrated Pistons fans out there tonight, so let's vent. Let me know down below in the comments what you saw, and let's talk about it. Next up for the Pistons is a road matchup with the Hornets on Thursday. I fully expect the Pistons to get some get back in this game, right? We already know what happened last game. A missed box out allowed Brandon Miller to get a tip into the buzzer, right? We know what happened, right? So I expect the Pistons to come in angry, especially knowing they let this one get away at home. So I'm really expecting them to bounce back and really take care of the business against the Hornets. And that's a wrap for this video, man. That's all I got, man. I'm really disappointed in this game. The Pistons really had a chance here to build on some momentum, but they didn't do it. So on to the next. And as you guys know, I'll be right back here post-game Thursday night to break it all down. Appreciate y'all hanging with your boy. And as always, Detroit versus everybody. Peace.
Dress up, bless up, step up and get it. Lace up, face up, I'm here to win it. It's for my city, and the team coming with me. Headed for the championship, even if the road is long. Legends paved the way for us. Nothing in this world can take it from us.